Mic check. Can y'all hear me? Camera looks a little blurry. Hold on. All right, give me a thumbs up, man, if y'all hear me. Make sure y'all can hear what I'm talking about. What's going on? Tis the season of recruiting. Wednesday's the big day. Sun's in my eyes. And man, a lot of news continues to break. Like every week, news continues to break. This weekend, man, if y'all didn't know, I was sick. I don't know what I had. I think I had like a sinus head infection thing, but I was down. Down for the count. Stuffy nose, all that good stuff. Couldn't breathe. Doing good today though. After that Wednesday episode, yeah, that thing hit me like a hammer. But we doing good now, man. And since then, news, of course. The news never stops, especially in the early off season. Man, the news never stops. The news never stops. And now, not only are we going to be anticipating this early signing day and who we got potentially coming, and our offensive coordinator might be. We already lost our linebacker coach, which congratulations to him. As we know, he went to be the Virginia Tech defensive coordinator, right? So good job for Coach Marv. I think I speak for most when, we wish him the best, but I don't think he'll be missed. Now we might be facing a very similar situation with the one and only offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham. And I got my own personal feelings on that one. But we'll wait a little bit, get more people in here. It's only 11. Don't know how many people are going to show up. Just figured I'd do a little impromptu Monday, as we get ready for Wednesday, man. Wednesday's the day when all our dreams will either be answered or torn asunder. So that's what we got going on this week. Big week for Florida State. Big week for a 5-7 team. Somehow being able to, even if we don't land who, my number one target, you guys who know who's number one on my board. And even if we don't land him, this class still sets up as a top 10 class, which is incredible. Despite, again, a 5-7 season. So I think that's definitely good news. Let's not waste too much more time. Don't know how long I'll be live, but let's just get it started, and y'all can input your opinions, and of course I give mine. You got Rose in the building, part of the 863 tribe. Tyler in the building. So you listening from work. 863 tribe. Brandon B. Todd Pope. The boxing monster. 863 tribe. Joel Hayward, Jeff, 863 tribe, Randy Yates, James Hopkins, Raymond James, Priscilla, and Peter Shields. Man, what's going on with you guys? Hope you guys having a good Monday. Hope you guys starting your week off strong. As you guys know, it's early morning still for me, so day's just getting started. While you guys on that East Coast and Central Time, y'all have been, what is it, like? It's already past noon over there for you guys, so you guys are in full effect on your day. Dang Bay, Jamal, and Zoe was good with you. But I guess the biggest thing to address is Kenny Dillingham. And Dan Lanning is the new head coach at Oregon. So good for him. I just to speak on that move, it's interesting. I feel like Lanning. I feel like Lanning should have had another job before taking that job. My question with Dan Lanning is, how much was he really? I know he's a guy that has a lot of fire on the recruiting trail and energetic and all of that. But my question with Lanning was always, how much was he really in control of that Kirby Smart defense over there at Georgia? And my question as the head coach is it kind of goes along the same. I would have liked to see Lanning get another DC job where I know for a fact he was in command of that defensive coordinator room, or that defense room, like full-fledged. I mean, let's just talk about Georgia for a quick second. Obviously, Kirby Smart is the head honcho over there, former Alabama D coordinator. He's pretty much proven everywhere he's been he's a defensive mastermind. They also had Will Muschamp on that defensive staff in Georgia. So how much pressure did that alleviate, having Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp, who's also known as a big-time defensive mind over there at Georgia? How much was Lanning really, you know what I mean, really doing the thing over there? I know he was a D coordinator in name, but, I mean, they surrounded him. He was surrounded by some elite staff. You feel me? So my question is he really head coach material? I mean, Oregon, they seem to think so. So, I mean, congratulations to him, obviously. I think it's a good move for him personally. But if I was Oregon, I don't know if they maybe jumped the gun there. Just for the fact that I don't know how much Lanning. I would have liked to see Lanning go somewhere else and have the same defensive results. That's just my opinion. But the reason we're talking about Lanning and that is because he's looking to hire. He's looking to fill out his staff, and he has targeted our Kenny Dillingham. Kevin Payne, what's up with you, man? The Boxing Monster says, if Dilly leaves and Mike, I trust. Look at all the people that keep getting jobs under Mike. What's up, Kilo, Lorenzo, and BB was good with you. So that's interesting, right? I'll say this about Mike. I'll say this about FSU staff. Because Dillingham looking like, I don't know if it's 50-50. I don't know the details of that. And I'll get into my opinions on Dillingham here in a second. But for a staff that people have criticized so greatly, and I'll be one to say, I've had my own criticisms personally of the staff. It seems like their contemporaries or their peers think very highly of Mike Norvell and the guys he continues to hire, because Kenyatta Watson has been talked about potentially being poached by an SEC team. As you know, he's a director of FSU's recruiting, and I think we got to do our best to keep him. Believe it or not, Adam Fuller made the short list of potential defensive coordinators for Texas A&M. Mike Elko took the Duke job, which is very interesting for Duke. And so Adam Fuller is actually on the short list of Texas A&M defensive coordinators. Do I think they end up hiring Fuller? No, I don't. But the fact that he's even being vetted is very interesting. Again, we're talking a guy that none of us have really been high on in Adam Fuller. For whatever reason, people seem to look at him as a potential replacement at A&M. As a matter of fact, I think last year his name popped up for some defensive coordinator roles. So that's, again, I'm just saying, like, for whatever reason, this staff that people hate so much, and again, I've had my reservations, but let some people tell it, this staff is garbage, and yet, for whatever reason, other teams want to poach this staff. So I think that speaks to Mike, his hiring ability, his If nothing else, Mike's eye for coaching talent seems to be top notch, right? So there's that. Let's get to the Kenny Dillingham thing, in my opinion on it. Tyler says Dilly ain't good enough to break the bank to keep him. Randy says, what do you think about Randy Shank being our new linebacker coach? We'll talk about that. What is the connection between FSU and Oregon? There keeps being swaps between the two programs. Crazy, right? Terrence says something's garbage. And I've been listening to all your FSU streams this football season. I'm glad I discovered your channel. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Kevin. Look, I like Kenny, but if I'm FSU, if I'm Mike, I tweeted this last night, so I'll stick by it. I believe in chess, not checkers. I like Kenny, but Kenny isn't the end-all be-all by any stretch. And if you're telling me on offense who's more important, let me put it to you like this. If Kenny stays, I'm good. If Kenny leaves, I'm good. I'm not mad either way. If he leaves, I say you first of all, who on this offense? Before I say what I'm about to say, I'll let you guys answer this quick question to see where y'all heads are at. Who on the offensive staff is the premium number one guy you cannot lose? We all should know this answer, and you'll see where I'm going with this. So please answer in the comments. And by the way, hit that like button. 38 people in here, so we should have 38 likes, right? But who on this staff is premium number one that you can't lose? Because that's where I'm going with this. Because if Kenny leaves, that money that, to be clear, FSU could match whatever Oregon's offering. They've already established that. I have all the faith in Alfred. If they wanted Kenny, they would match it. I think I've heard somewhere that Oregon would be looking to pay Kenny $1 million and like 3 guaranteed years. And then, of course, Kenny's West Coast guy. So it makes a lot of sense for Dillingham actually to take that job, because Dillingham's next move would be a head coach job, more than likely, right? So good for him, but there's one person on the staff that you can't lose. So instead of matching that offer, you take that money and you pour it into this guy, because this guy you need to keep at all costs. Let's see what y'all talk about. I already see some funny ass answers. Most of y'all got the right answer. Somebody said boxing moms are being funny, talking about Dugans and all that stuff. Look, man, y'all hit the nail on the head. It's right? If Dilly leaves, hey, go be great over there on the West Coast. But that $1 million contract that you can match, man, you get that straight to Alex Atkins. You give him that. You promote him to offensive coordinator. He's already your running game, your running game coordinator, whatever you call that thing. Don't know the exact term for that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The running game coordinator. Hey, Atkins is your OC. He is by far the best recruiter probably on the staff. The only guy that rivals him on the staff as far as recruiting is Woodson. Woodson killing it in that secondary. Because FSU right now is about to sign like 3 top 100 DBs. That Niceville kid, apparently, he's all Florida State. We'll see on signing day, but you got a top 100 athlete, and I always mess up his first name, but Thomas out of Niceville. Apparently, he's by the lock. We already know Sam and Hunter ain't going nowhere, right? Can't nobody really match that resume that Woodson got on that side of the ball. But Alex Atkins is about to sign the best offensive line class that Florida State has had in 10 years. And I don't even think I'm exaggerating when I say that. Julian Armella is going to be the best offensive line, the single best offensive line recruit FSU has signed since Landon Dickerson. Right? Now, there's a big contrast of where people actually rank Armella. Rivals thinks this guy's a number one offensive tackle in the country. I do not. Composite has him like right where I think he should be. And then 247 has him they're a little low on him. And I think, they're being a little harsh on him. So Armella's again, probably the best offensive line recruit that you would have signed since Dickerson. And then before that, who? So Armello's one of the best O-line recruits that you've signed in a long time. This man's about to bring in 6 offensive linemen. I mean, again, no disrespect to Kenny, who I do like. I do like Kenny's energy. I do like sort of what he brings. I think we have not seen the full scope of his offense because we've been limited at positions. But if you're telling me I'm losing Kenny and I'm going to pour my resources into Atkins and give him 3-4 guaranteed years and pay him $1 million plus, hey, I take that all day, every single day. That's not even a question for me. Mike's already sort of the offensive. I won't call him a mastermind because he hasn't shown that he's a mastermind. But Mike Norvell is obviously the leader of that offense and what he wants to run there. And Mike has shown that he can fill out our offensive staff, so I'm not really worried there, right? Myron says promote Atkins, get an assistant, and move him to QB coach and KIM. Atkins is the best recruiter. Woodson is killing it. Recruiting has been more of a disappointment last couple of years. Let's change that this year. Woodson must be dropping wood. It's a joke. Don't kill me. Jalen Early, I think, is the best O-line FSU's bringing in. Just my opinion, and I ain't mad at you. Trey Thomas, and we need to consider Willie to replace Dilly. Stop it. I'm not paying you no more attention, DF. You're done here. You're done. Not paying you any attention. So yeah, that's my take on it. Like, again, no skin off my back if we lose him or if he stays. And but I know what I would want to do if we lose him. Because either way, here's my thing. Either way, if Kenny stays, you still got to end up figuring out what you... Look, Atkins just brought in, again, he's going to sign about a class of six or 5. How many do we have committed right now? Early, Sapp, Charlton. We got Woody, but there's a lot of talks that FSU's not going to send him an LOI because, I mean, I know we talked about this in June when he committed originally. This kid might not qualify, and apparently that's every college that's still recruiting him, which is mainly Auburn and Florida State at this point, both feel that he won't qualify. So FSU has to be smart because if you offer him and he signs and he doesn't qualify, you don't get that scholarship back. You have to eat that. And right now we're not in a position to really just be eating scholarships, right? So Woody is not expected to sign Wednesday. And it looks like he's going to try to use this last month or so to try to get qualified. My guess is he won't be. So we're not going to count Woody in this. Richardson. So you got Richardson, Sapp, Charlton. Who am I missing? Damn, just that quick. Early. That's who you got right now. So you got 4. You get Armella. That's 5. You're going to sign a class of 5. Best case scenario, Woody signs at 6. Either way, again, your boys killed it. If Dillingham stays, you still got to figure out what you're doing with Atkins because guess what? Next year, I'm gonna be the one to say I think the O-line just continues to get better and better. They showed a ton of progress since Atkins has been the offensive line coach, in my opinion. Next year, now you got talent, now you got depth. They haven't even started with the transfer portal yet. All signs are pointing to that Wisconsin center coming to Florida State. Apparently, they're killing it there. And a lot of people are expecting him to sign. So that's already one upgrade. I think you got to upgrade about, at a minimum, 1 more position on that offensive line. I didn't even count Bless Harris, right? So actually, we got another one in Bless Harris, the transfer out of Lamar. So I actually forgot about him. So yeah, that is 6 O-linemen as of right now. So my point is, even if Dillingham stays, you got to figure out what you're doing with Atkins. Because guess what? Next year around the same time, teams are going to be hunting for Alex Atkins. If you don't lock him up now, somebody's going to poach him in the future. If I'm Mike Norvell, hey, I might even be encouraging Kenny Dillingham to take that Oregon job, right? I might even be encouraging it, like, hey, man, go take that job because I'm about to give Atkins this $1 million contract, shore him up for the next few years, and there's that, right? Because Atkins is another coach that has a very, very bright future. Very, very bright future. Sooner rather than later, right? Atkins is not going to be at Florida State for the next 5 years. So there's that. That FIU kid ain't coming here. I don't believe so, Isaac. So, there you go. There you go. What y'all got? I would like to see a running back this cycle. Odell Steve's to like a West and Verse. I think the Verse recruitment is a JPP recruitment, not an Odell recruitment. And yeah, Odell still's got to lock up West, but I think everybody feels good about West at this point. Now this fan base is just dramatic at times. LOL, Dilly good, but at the same time, he's easily replaceable. I think losing him doesn't really impact the class. Peter forgot Charlton. What up, Go Knowles? Might push Mortimer out, but he's got 1 foot out the door already. We'll talk about that wide receiver stuff in a minute. Again, that FIU kid, man, I think early indications were possibly Florida State, but this kid, I said it last week, he's got offers from every top program. I think he just visited Ohio State. Like, Ohio State wants him. I know he visited UCLA. I don't think that, and he hasn't visited Florida State. So if he's trying to make a decision early, and it's the dead period, so he can't visit until, I think the dead period doesn't end until like January, about a month from now. I think the dead period's almost for a whole month. And if he's going to make his decision in that time frame, I don't think you can expect him. If Dilly stays, we possibly could get Bo Nix for a year. What do you think about Bo Nix? That's potential, right? I've been saying it, but I think Atkins has a chance of being a head coach. I think you promote Ack. Offensive coordinator raises his salary. Dilly stays, it doesn't matter. You still give Ack a raise and make him a co-OC. Bo Nix definitely coming if Dillingham stays. And let's just hope Dilly wait until all the recruits sign on Wednesday. Let's talk about that for a second, Irv, because this is one of the things that people that are pro-Dillingham, which I'm not anti-Dillingham. Let me be clear. Again, I would like him to stay, but I wouldn't be mad if he left. But people that are kind of like really adamant about not losing him are saying that he's a great recruiter. And I think you look at a guy that has a potential to be a great recruiter, but let's sit down right now and say, who is he recruited? Who has he recruited? Who is Dillingham recruited? The only guy that you can name that he's recruited is AJ Duffy. And guess what? Duffy has a great relationship with Mike. So I don't think there's any threat. If Dillingham was announced today that he was going to Oregon, I don't think there's any threat of Duffy leaving for anywhere else. First of all, it's very late in the process for Duffy. I don't even think Duffy's visited anywhere else in months. And again, this isn't a situation like we've seen in the past where the head coach isn't involved, OC gets fired or leaves to go elsewhere, and now we're out of quarterback. I think Mike has been very big on the Duffy recruitment. Matter of fact, we know, I want to say it was either this past week or last week for sure, Mike personally went and visited Duffy. So regardless, Duffy's here. You can't name another recruit that Kenny has. Can't name another guy. You want to bank on Javonte Barnes? Well, guess what? Barnes ain't coming here. So we want to talk about guys that we are potentially in the mix for, but Barnes ain't coming here. I've told y'all since the Miami game that Coleman wasn't coming here. Now, I don't know where Coleman ends up. I don't think, and this isn't just because it's Miami, but I don't think it's not. The reason I don't think it's Miami is because I know he visited Miami this weekend, but he didn't take his family. When you don't take your family on visits, that's usually just an experience thing, not really you looking to go there. I would have been more sold on Coleman going to Miami, even though I know he has a great relationship with Mario. I would have been more sold on Coleman to Miami if Coleman had took his mom, his dad, whoever with him, and he didn't. He just went by himself. So that tells me he wanted to see, he wanted to experience it, but don't know if he's really going there, right? So we'll see what happens with Coleman. But again, I told y'all, I don't think Coleman was ever coming here. So those two recruits are the only recruits that we're in the mix for because of Kenny, and we ain't getting either one. So again, who has Kenny Dillingham, this great recruiter? Excuse me, this great recruiter. Who has he commit? Who has he got? He's got Duffy. And then you got Pittman. You got the transfer out of Oregon, who I do think that if Kenny leaves, I think we're out of the running for Pittman. Now, this isn't to downplay Pittman, but I don't think Pittman's a number one, but I think he fills a few needs in the punt return game and stuff like that. But I think if you look at Pittman, I would argue, man, don't get me wrong, I'd take him in a second because we need to continue to add talent to that room. But with Pittman, I think he is exactly what we already have on the roster with the guy that wears number 22. I think they do damn near the exact same things. Pittman might be better in the special team game, which is where I think, Pittman would really come into play for Florida State if he were to come here. Year one, like he'd be used in the special team game. But Pittman does a lot of stuff that Ja'Kai Douglas already does, man. Especially when you're talking about the offensive side of the ball. And that's my personal opinion there. So that would be a guy that we would miss out on. But the other guys, again, I don't think Florida State's going to get any of those guys. So that's just me. Tyler says, I watched Verse play against Cuse because people were hyping him in that game. I didn't see it personally. Couple pressures, couple soul tackles, looks fast about it. I watched some of Verse's tape. I'm a little higher on him than I was initially, but not a lot. I like Verse if you're pairing him with a Marvin Jones Jr., then I think that's now you cook him with something there in your defensive end class. Because the promising side about Jared Verse is he's got 3 years. He only played 1 year down there. He's got 3 years of eligibility. So he's still young and he's still developing, which is great. He's not a finished product by any means. And he has a high motor. That's the best trait I saw from him when I watched his tape is doesn't give up on plays hard every single snap, high motor, high effort guy. But I always question, because we saw it with Cushney, and Cushney was a guy who dominated that same level that Verse played at. Cushney dominated it. Like, Cushney was dominant in the few games he played, where Verse isn't that. And Cushney couldn't even barely crack the rotation here in the ACC at Florida State. So I think there'd be a learning curve. I think there'd be a physicality curve for a Jared Verse. But I think there's a problem if he's the primary target, meaning if all you get is Jared Verse, I mean, yeah, that's good for depth and good for the rotation, but he's not going to come in and make an instant impact. But if you're talking about pairing him for the future with the Marvin Jones Jr. and so on and so forth, then I like the Verse take. From what I read, he didn't have family there. Now, maybe he took a few people with him, but from what I read, I don't think he had like his family there with him. If Dilly leaves, Coleman follows him to Oregon. If he stays, he goes to USC. Either way, never had him in the class either. Pittman was misused, POLK. He has talent. There's no Irv. Let me take a drink real quick. At this point, I don't even think Dustin Hill's a real person. I think he is, again, he's a myth. He's a folktale. I don't know if Dustin Hill's a real person. The man hasn't been active on his social media. I don't think Dustin Hill's a real person. I would be shocked. Again, I've had this same stance from the jump. I know from your insiders. Remember, disclaimer, as I do every episode, I am not an insider. I have no sources. I just give my personal opinions on Florida State from what I read. I read the same stuff, listen to the same stuff that y'all do. So the insiders say Florida State says he's coming in January. Okay, cool. I hold the same stance. I don't think he's coming. And again, I don't even think the young man's a real person because it's crazy. Like, no social media activity, no nothing. I don't think Dustin Hill's real. To be honest, I think Mortimer could fill out the punt return role we appreciate. With practice, but I still like Pitt. Jarrett versus a freak. Why I don't want to lose Mortimer helps me. Let's talk about that. I don't think he's a real person. Has anybody seen Dustin Hill? Seriously. I follow Dustin Hill on Twitter and Instagram. No social. How crazy that a high school kid doesn't even post his social media. What has he been doing for this last year? What has Dustin Hill been doing for this last year that he hasn't even put on anything on social media? Has he been locked in that? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's a real person, but we'll find out. But let's talk about this Mortimer situation. I think there's a good chance Mortimer ain't in this class, y'all. And that pisses me off to say that. And if we're going to have that energy we had with Marv after Brissaint, even though I told y'all, I never thought Brissaint was coming. But y'all listen to the guys, the insiders, y'all listen to them same insiders that said Brissaint was a lock, only to change their picks the morning of. I don't think Mortimer is coming, and I think that same energy that we had with Marv, we need to have for Dugans, man. We need to have for Dugans because how can Mortimer look at that room and say he wouldn't be an asset, but feels like Louisville is a better spot for him or West Virginia? So the Mortimer thing, it pisses me off. That pisses me off. And if that happens, if he flips, then guess what? Dugans got to be out the door. Like, we need to have that same energy. Dugans needs to be out the door. Period. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can watch the games last year and say, man, the receiver room outside of 1-2 guys, receiver room ain't scaring nobody. I think Malik McClain takes a big step next year, but that's still only one guy. I think if they utilize Ja'Kai Douglas more, but that's only 2 guys. Burrell was hurt. We'll see how Burrell bounces back from his injury next year. But we still going to have Keyshawn Helton, Ontario Wilson. Ain't nothing in that wide receiver room that's threatening anybody. Right? That wide receiver board is ugly. And the fact that we saw all year how ugly it was on the field, the fact that we are not in the running for anybody on the trail is a bit ridiculous, man. We're really sitting here talking about Coleman, who on social media, look, I like Kevin Coleman, 5-star legit player. Coleman shows everybody more love on Twitter and social media than the team that everybody says he's crystal ball to, which is why I don't think Coleman's coming to Florida State. Coleman shows everybody on social media. Is that just Coleman playing games? I doubt it. There's no receivers, man. There's no receivers out there, and to lose Mortimer would hurt. So, got to have that same energy for Dugans. Now, I've been calling for Dugans' head for a hot minute, so y'all know how I already feel, right? But how do you Ron Dugans, like, how last year you almost lost Malik McClain. I think Malik McClain saved Ron Dugans last year. Because we look at last year, you had a good receiving class. However, your top receiver didn't come on campus in Dustin Hill. And you almost lost Malik McClain at the last minute, but you were able to reel him back in. So shout out to that. But this year, The only guy you got is, and again, no offense to Mortimer, who I think is a great player, but Mortimer, even if he sticks, guess what? He's not a number one. Mortimer's not a number one. He might be a dynamic slot receiver, but he's not a number one. So we still not addressing the number one wide receiver need. And all the signs are kind of pointing to Mortimer not signing with us on Wednesday. Dugan's got to go, bro. I don't know how. If you want to defend him, good luck. Show me. I guess you'd have to point that evidence, right? But I don't see where. I don't see it. I don't see it. Let's see. Let's go back to these comments real quick. Dustin Hill's a clone. Good for Amari Gaynor. I think that's a good thing. I still don't think they know what to do with them. I think Amari Gaynor's. I think one of the biggest problems with Gaynor is his skill set doesn't match his body type. And with the defense we're running, I think Gaynor would be more effective in a 3-4 as an outside linebacker rush in type. And what we run, I think his strength is rushing the passer, but he's small. He's too small to do it. They tried to stand him up this past year in certain plays, and it just didn't look, I'm glad he's coming back. We need the depth there. And maybe another year, maybe he can contribute in some, but I don't want to say I've given up on Gaynor at this point, but I've kind of given up on Gaynor being an impact player. Good rotation guy, but I don't think he's an impact player at this point. No, Dustin Hill left America. He in Africa right now. There you go. Mortimer might flip to Louisville. Yep. Seminole T2I in the building. What up, Kane Zay? Maybe, and maybe, he's just exploring his options, and that's perfectly fine and fair. I do get that. Maybe before he signed, he just wanted to take a couple visits and see what else is out there. But, it's never a good sign when the guy who has, again, I just use experience. And if you follow recruiting over the years, committed kids who are taking visits at the last. Tyree West is doing the exact same thing that Mortimer's doing, guys. Tyree West is still committed to Georgia. Yet everybody knows Tyree West ain't signing with Georgia. He's visiting Tennessee, Florida State, all these other places. I think Mortimer's doing something similar. I hope he stays, but guess what? It's not trending in the right direction. The recruiting board is what's up, Norville Central, man? How you been? And he says, yeah, the recruiting board is a mess. If Mortimer flips Louisville, we need to start up the Fire Duke. We should have been started that up. Yeah, I'm finna clock in, man. Coleman or bust, unfortunately. Not a Dugans fan, not a good wide receiver coach, and just a good enough recruiter. If FSU indeed loses out on a guy like Mortimer, he needs to go. Dugans needs to get out of Tally. His guys regress horribly after year, but he'll teach them how to block. The receiver room is undeveloped. That's the problem with having former players as coaches. Too much loyalty. I think we get an Earl Little because of the because of the corner who decommitted. I don't know. You think the corner who decommitted from Clemson is going to Bama? Is that what you're saying? And so you think Earl Little might come to Florida State? Okay. I don't agree. I don't think Earl's coming here. I think Azariah Thomas kind of solidified that. I don't know if FSU is going to take another DB unless you're telling me that, because Thomas is an athlete, McCall's an athlete. Unless you think that one of those DBs that we currently have, hold on a second. Right. Unless you think that one of those DBs that we currently have might make the move to a full-time offensive spot, then maybe Earl would make a little sense. I think Mario in Miami might have changed the dynamics for Earl Little, to be honest with you. If Bama doesn't have a spot for him, I know Earl and his father didn't have a great relationship with Manny. I think that has changed with Mario. Just my opinion there. He's more without the ability to coach. At this point, I mean, unfortunately, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing for Hunter, because we know Hunter's that dynamic of an athlete. I just think Hunter is the DB of the future. I think year one Hunter's going to play both ways. I think Hunter doesn't really solidify until year 2 and 3. But year one, I think you'll have the liberty, because you're bringing back some guys and you still have some depth there. I think year one, you have the liberty of using Hunter in a lot of different ways. Who could they bring in to replace Dugans? Great question. Move Yak to wide receiver coach. LSU just let go of Kevin Falk. I'm not saying that would happen. But go move Yak to wide receiver. Go bring in another Louisiana guy. I'm all for getting them Louisiana guys on the staff. Bring in Kevin Falk, be a running back coach. I think Kenny leaves to Oregon. Atkins the OC. I think you just drastically improve your recruiting in the offensive side of the ball just like that. I'm with you. I don't think Dugans is a weak recruiter. I don't think he's that good of a developing receivers either. By the way, y'all sleep on Mortimer. I heard Dugans was trying to talk with Thomas, the Niceville kid, over the weekend to flip him to receiver. Possible. Mortimer is going to make a noise. I watched him play in person. The kid can move. He gets the ball. Coleman, Marvin Jones, Little, Wilson are all Mario's silent commits. Man, you better stop. Coleman, maybe. Little, again, I just talked about that. Wilson. Kamari Wilson? Man, get out of here. We need receivers who can take 5-yard passes into 80 yards. I mean, everybody needs a receiver like that. Reported from one of the sites that Coach Yak visited his school and was like, what the hell? Visited Hill's school. Oh, okay. Man, Kamari Wilson going to Georgia. Y'all better stop that. Georgia and Alabama both have around 2-4 spots left. So hopefully some of those recruits land in Tallahassee. Coleman, Little, Marvin Jones, and Wilson are silent Mario Cristobal commits as of today, and UGA is meeting with Hunter today. Stop it. UGA can't meet with Hunter today. It's the dead period. If UGA is meeting with Hunter today, then they're breaking the dead. Y'all just come on here and tell lies. People come on here and just spread rumors and tell lies, y'all. But y'all believe who y'all want to believe. Y'all believe who y'all want to believe, man. If Marvin Jones Jr. ain't in Tallahassee, he's going to be in Bama. Little, I already talked about that. I'm not even going to introduce it. Who didn't visit us? Because Kamari did visit us, but I don't know who you're talking about. Boy, some fools. They just they trolling, just spreading some nonsense. If Hunter goes off of a wide receiver, would you? No, I wouldn't be mad. No, I wouldn't be mad. Bet him the 1K. That's free. That's a free $1,000, BB. Do it. Bet him. What box of monster talking about? Well, when you sent the money, it didn't say it was OG until after I read it. So my bad, dog. My bad. I ain't trying to put your government out there, but I appreciate that though. I'll put a stack of, yeah, somebody please bet that 1,000. Bro, I don't care what DM you send me. But I'll check it. But that shit ain't gonna prove nothing to me. BB, bet him the $1,000, man. I would. But man, I guess we'll see. Terrence, go ahead, Terrence. Bet that money. Let me tell you why I don't believe in these silent commits. Because what benefit would it have to be a silent commit? Why not just commit? Has Kamari Wilson even been on campus at Miami? I love it though. I love it. I love it. It's that honeymoon phase. So everybody's excited. I love it. No freaking bet. Marvin Jones Jr. Okay, here's silent commits make sense for kids that don't have a spot necessarily secured. So, for instance, I think it was Charlton that was a silent commit at one point. Marvin Jones Jr. don't got a silent Marvin Jones Jr. has a spot wherever he wants to go. He don't have to silent commit anywhere. had silent commits this summer, but I don't know what happened according to those YouTubers. Terrence, bet that man. That's a free $1,000. Teams ain't got to make room for him. He has a spot. He don't got to make room for him. Hey, keep calling him out. Y'all bet that 1,000. I want to see it. Put your money where your mouth is. Teams will make. Thank you, Rose. What happened to all those summer silents? Didn't Utah take Mario's Conte's? Why is so proud of a coach that can't beat you? This ain't even a Miami discussion, but I know them boys are very happy. They betting 1K on Marvin Jones. So Miami fans coming in here saying Marvin Jones Jr., Earl Little, Kamari Wilson, and Kevin Coleman are all silent commits to Miami right now. So if y'all want to take that $1,000 bet that T2 I throwing out there, y'all do that, because that's it's a lot of money T2 I gonna have to spend if everybody takes that bet. But then again, it's a lot of money he can make if he's right? So I make that bet. What was I about to say? I forgot what I was about to say. I was about to say something. Just that quick, I forgot. BB Lowe says, cap. I got 2,000 on it, 2,500 on it right now. I'm gonna check my DMs eventually and see what he's talking about. But again, my guess, and I have no idea what he's talking about. I don't know. Maybe he gonna show me something in a group chat. Just a little impromptu video. Nothing too crazy. Hey man, keep the lie alive, bro. I got 1 million on Shiba coins on it. Cite your sources. Hey, I'm not the one with sources. I don't know why. Here's my thing, bro. I don't know why you would have to DM me the stuff. This is why I don't claim to have insiders, and this is why I don't do. And this is why I don't. I don't do things like that. Put it like this: I'm not. If I had something, when I get something, unless someone says, "Hey, man, don't say nothing," then I just keep it to myself. But we'll see. Put it out there. You'll have who on the show Thursday? Please tell me. He has a DM where Kamari Wilson said if Cristobal came to Miami, he would commit to them. Who's Kamari? Who's Kamari? Kamari DM'd who? Who did he DM that to? Interesting. What up? What up, Chris? Hey, man, if you got the DM and you're gonna have him on the show Thursday, take Terrence's money. Take Terrence's money. Let him know Terrence they agreed to the bet. Don't come in here talking cash and you ain't gonna back it up. Miami fans but we already know that. What up, Tim? Ain't seen you in a hot minute. But yeah, so that's Kenny Dillingham. Might be going to Oregon, y'all. So as far as Florida State goes, I think we closed fairly well. Right? I think we closed very well. It's ridiculous, right? I'm glad you said it, Brandon. He a silent commit, yet every Miami YouTuber knows it. Did y'all talk about? Yeah, we talked about Dilly to Oregon. That's what I said pretty much. I said I'm cool either way. If he stays, I'm cool. If he goes, even better, because you promote Act to OC, and the rest is history. What's up, Central Texas? Kane, what's good with you? So, like I said, man, a little Monday video. Nothing too crazy. Kamari Wilson has a family member or something that's supposedly close to him, but until we see proof, it's all cap to me. I wouldn't be shocked about that one. If they were talking about Shamar, I would be more keen to listening to that. That one makes more sense. Not saying I care either way where Kamari goes. He ain't coming to Florida State, so I'm not really worried. But then all of a sudden, Cristobal has Earl Little, Marvin Jones, Kamari Wilson, and who was the fourth? There was another one. All these people just all of a sudden silent commit and Coleman is so funny to me. Absolutely crazy. Did you talk about Shannon yet? Actually, no, I haven't. We'll talk about him now. All right, OG, man, appreciate you showing up. No such thing as silent commit. Kids just favor school more than others depending on what's going on at the time. I got play in the NFL. I don't know what plays motherfuckers going to run. Kamari going to Georgia. Canes fans ain't delusional. Some of them are. Most of us just want to win before we check out this mug. FSU top 10 national class, number 2, if not 1 in the ACC. I think they finished 1 in the ACC. Who has a better class right now? Clemson's got so many decommits and transfer. Hey, a lot of things are shaping up pretty well for Florida State. And BB thinks Kamari to Florida, which is interesting. I know Corey Raymond, and I know he visited Florida. Now, I don't know what's the deal there, but I know he visited Florida. So if BB was coming in here talking that trash, maybe I'd be more inclined to believe BB. But they're already saying they're flipping Skinner. Now, if Skinner did visit Miami over the weekend, that's possible. I wouldn't rule out Jaleel Skinner. I wouldn't rule it out. It's not very often that a kid that's committed to Bama is out there taking visits, Rose. So I know we see the name Bama and we start laughing, but there's a chance that Skinner has had some, how do I say this, character concerns where he's been. It's possible that Saban could be pushing Skinner out of that class, maybe to free up another spot for like an Earl Little or something. I don't think Skinner to Bama is as much of a lock. I could see Skinner flipping last second. I could. UNC? Okay. That I agree with. We go into February with the top class. Maybe UNC, somehow that's about it. FSU's best class, the ACC, other than that. But if we close how we're supposed to close Wednesday, I think we would overtake USC. Just UNC, sorry. Everybody visits Miami. It's a nice city. It is a nice city. Thank you. Skinner's more likely. I wouldn't rule out Jaleel Skinner to Miami. I wouldn't rule that out. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule that one out. I know Skinner was very high on Miami at one point. But again, that's a kid that has some character concerns. One of the reasons Florida State kind of cut ties with him, or reportedly that Florida State cut ties with him. So I wouldn't rule out Jaleel Skinner. See, if they were saying names like Skinner and Shamar, the Miami fans would make more sense. Now they just talking reckless. Like, I don't know. I love visiting Miami too. I love every time I go to Florida. I go down to South Florida every time. I love Miami like the rest of y'all. A lot of these kids haven't taken any visits at all. It's the holiday season, no school, might as well squeeze them in, even if you're not switching. Official visits, that's it. FSU will close with the top 10 and UM with the 50. Miami currently has 8 commits and 17 silent commits. Ain't that crazy? Crazy how that works, man. Crazy how that works. All these kids love Miami, but they haven't willing to step out and commit publicly. That doesn't make sense to me. I will say this, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate and I'll be a little fair. I'll be a little fair right now. If there was the time to silent commit, I will say that this week is the time to do that because everybody wants that big Wednesday press conference ceremony with the hats and throwing hats and flipping up hat. Everybody wants, all those kids want to do that Wednesday. So if there was a week where the silent commit rumors would be prevalent and make sense, it would be this week. I'm not going to tip my hand to where I want to go. I'm going to tell this coaching staff that I'm going to commit here because on Wednesday, I want to shock the world. Or, that I would agree with that. But again, the notion that Miami has 17 silent commits is so ridiculous to me. But I could, look, I'll sit here and fully admit I was wrong about Mario coming to Miami. Miami took all the teachers' money in the school and gave it to Mario. So they did what they had to do to invest in football. Shout out to them. Good point. I mean, I got family down there, so I like Miami, but I love South Beach. So you right there. What is it that y'all said about to Florida State during the offseason? Games have yet to be played. Mario's got a ton of momentum right now, and I get it. My dog got to go out there and play football games, though. And if his last football game is any indicator, you don't have to be a very talented team to beat them. We got crystal balls to get a cornerback transfer from Bama. I respect Miami for making moves, but I like what FSU is doing more. Them coming out publicly would make that the destination. In 2 years, they will hate Mario. What exactly do crystal balls mean? It's one of those things that, they're fun. It's fun for them. I like crystal balls because it's always fun to predict. And like I said, next year, I think I'm going to bring crystal balls to the channel. I'm not going to call them crystal balls. I think I'm going to call them like my platinum picks. The difference between me and what everybody else in the industry does, when I finally I'm not going to rush my crystal balls. When I pick them, I'm going to stick with them. And I'm not mad or afraid to be wrong or right. I think the problem people have with crystal balls is, y'all pay subscriptions to listen to these guys, these insiders with these sources, and they lead you in one direction. But again, to keep the accuracy, to make their profile looks like they always hit, they change at the last minute. That's my problem with them, right? I'm not against you predicting and picking, but stick with your prediction. You either think he coming here or not. You got all the sources. You should be making, prime decisions. or educated decision. In 2 years, they'll be screaming no more former players as coaches. Recruiting has turned into the I dream of Genie. Is Ed Reed still on Miami staff? That's a great question. I don't think Mario would get rid of Ed. So he might even have a higher role. Mario still hasn't filled out, and that's another thing that Miami fans ain't even thinking about. Miami still hasn't filled out its coaching staff. So Kamari and all these guys are about to commit to Miami and have no idea who's coaching them. I don't know. Miami fans say Cristobal speaks Spanish. And I'm like, how does that correlate to winning games? Miami took out a PP loan to pay Mario. Cristobal speaks Spanish. Damn, what Mike speak, Alo? I don't know. Ebonics, maybe? I don't know. I wish Miami faced a tough opponent week 1 so we could really see he faces Texas A&M next, and that's going to be the game that everything is going to switch for Miami. When they play A&M, I don't know if they play them first game of the season or second game, but when they go to A&M, I think they have to go to College Station too, and they lose that game by 20 points, they're going to be like, well, damn, I thought Mario was the savior. Wow, Manny Diaz doesn't speak Spanish. Hello, that's actually pretty funny. Hell, my last name's Lopez, man, and I don't speak Spanish. Please tell T2Y, Mike Alford. Bro, he makes troll videos. Y'all got to stop taking T2Y seriously. If you know, you know. There's no need to respond to that. There's no need to respond to that, man. Alford worked with the Dallas Cowboys and was one of the main pieces of getting that stadium they got over there. Like Alford was a part of all of that. So Alford's resume speaks for himself. A quick Google search will tell you what Mike Alford is. At the end of the day, you just got to beat Miami and Florida in a football game. All the other crap doesn't really matter. Crystal balls are recruiting analysts' predictions on where they believe a recruit will go based on their intel. Norvell did have braids in college. He might speak Ebonics for real. Word is out from an Oregon source. Mario is an excellent recruiter, but is stubborn X's and O's. They play Bethune-Cookman for the first game. So they'll beat Bethune by 20, 30. But A&M going to slap them back down to reality. Third game, they play A&M, and they'll lose by 30. Alabama Part 2. I ain't screaming national title or ACC champ. Let's see what happens. Kane, you're one of the few guys that actually come in here and be rational on most days. LOL, T2Y makes videos for adolescents. You can't take him serious. Uncle Luke said that Mario can go to the ghetto and get kids. I guess there's a hidden side of the city that only a few know about. When is Miami getting their own? I don't know. Don't really care there. As far as what Uncle Luke says, bruh, I don't even know how to respond to that. Aren't Miami fans donating pandemic money for a hospital the reason they can hire Cristobal? Come on. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. You're pretty reserved most days. Insane Kane says, why am I even talking about Miami? I really don't. I'm only talking about Miami because Miami fans was in here talking to me. Do you tell the Miami channels why they make videos about Florida State 24/7? Because I ain't never, ever, and never will make a whole video about Miami. So don't even come in here asking me what I'm talking about. Uncle Luke said, what? Oh, this can't be real. Dumb statement. It's hoods and ghetto. That's why I said I didn't know how to respond to it, to be honest with you, Brandon. I didn't really know. I didn't know how to respond to that. It was a dumb statement. I thought so, too. Polk, what do you think about the 50 KO line are getting? You're talking about at Texas? We lucked at a Tyra. Again, I don't know anything about ADs, man. From what I heard, Tyra was a good candidate. I talked about that, but I don't know anything about athletic directors for me to pretend that Tyra was a good or bad hire. I just know Mike Alford was always my number one guy because being CEO of the Boosters, I saw his work Like, we were able to see his work and what he was able to do. So for me, that spoke volumes. But I won't sit here and pretend that I'm not that dedicated to be researching these athletic directors. I'm not even going to pretend. Uncle Luke stated Deion Sanders and Odell went to see the AD about Odell becoming head coach. Is this? Uncle Luke stated Deion Sanders and Odell went to see who our AD about. Bro, I haven't. You're the first person I've heard say that. So again, I ain't got no sources, bro. So if that's happened, I wouldn't know. Bro, I tried to listen to Uncle Luke's live, and it was hard and tough to listen to. Bunch of nonsense. Yeah, Gainer's coming back. Tell him, Rose, hit the like button. We're still waiting to see if Fabian Lovett drops that note saying he's coming back. Some people tend to believe it. I think Fabian's he's trying to, I think he's vetting the NFL. He wants to see where they're projecting him before he makes that move. I hope he comes back, but I wouldn't be mad if Fabian Lovett gets like a 3rd round grade, maybe even a 4th round grade. I think he's probably gone. But I would like to see Fabian come back. Some people think he's coming back, but we'll see. Uncle Luke said it on Spaces Friday, and that the AD told them no. So, listen, I don't listen to much Uncle Luke says. At some point, I kind of think he's going senile at some point. So you're telling me that Deion Sanders and Odell Haggins, who Deion's currently the coach at JSU, went behind Mike Norvell's back, straight to Alfred, who Alfred and Mike are kind of like this, and asked to become the head coach at Florida State. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what you're telling me. And Alfred turned them down, and somehow Mike Norvell's unaware of this, but Uncle Luke knows this, but Mike Norvell's unaware of this, and Odell still has a job, though he tried to one-up Mike Norvell behind his back and go straight to the AD and try to get a head coaching job. Is that what you're telling me? Please, I'm not saying you wrong, Zoe. I just want to be clear on what, and I know you didn't say this. I know you said Luke said this. I just want to be clear that that's the thing, that's the nonsense I'm hearing. And anybody, he said this was before Mike Norvell. Okay, so he's saying that before Mike was hired, that means Deion and Odell went to Corbin, because Corbin was the AD at that time, and tried to become head coach. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. I still don't know if it happened. I have no way of verifying if that happened. But that makes more sense than what I thought you were saying. It makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. I have no way of knowing if that happened or not. POLK, these dudes come in here and say anything. I'm sure if Odell did that, it would have had some type of contract infringement. I feel like we'd know if Dilly was gone at this point. Probably. But we'll find out. I have a feeling that my thing is, I know Florida State can match whatever Oregon's offering. I just don't know if I want Florida State to match whatever Oregon's offering. Again, I'm not mad if Dilly stays or goes, but I feel like you can let him walk. And that money you were going to match, get that junk to Atkins, man. But hey, I'm not running the show. But, you know. I think so. So if you guys remember, when Tyra was kind of being, or Tyree, however you pronounce his name, when he was kind of being reported as a done deal, you guys remember me saying I thought Mike would be on a short leash next year. Alfred might give him a little bit more leeway because Alfred's been here, and I do know that they have that relationship, right? Mike still got to go out and win, but he might have more of a longer of a leash. I won't mind Dilly leaving because I feel like offense is too vanilla. Not sure if he's the guy behind some of the schemes. If I'm Dilly, I'm gone. Run my own offense and a chance to get more money. And the media say him and Lanning are like best friends. That's what they're saying. Hell no. Nah. If we're going to be in a bidding war, at least let him be an elite OC. I agree with that. How would he even know that? I guess you're talking about Uncle Luke reporting all this stuff about Florida State. Same Uncle Luke who didn't even want Mario as, again, that man tweets so much nonsense. This is the same guy who, when they were talking about who the next Miami head coach was going to be, he didn't want Mario Cristobal. Now that Mario's on board, oh, he's 100% Mario Cristobal. And Mike, I trust. Mike will hire a good coach. We will beat UM, Clemson, and UF. Hire Fuentes as OC, used to be with Norvell at Memphis. Tyler, yes, give him at least the duration of his contract. Paul, what do you think of the slew of QBs that's in the portal? I think, and they've said this on 247 and other places, but they're going to focus on signing Duffy, and then I think they'll attack the portal in the quarterback situation. I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell we let Brett Venables get away to Oklahoma. Venables, if I'm not, Venables used to coach at Oklahoma previously. I think he was a DC at Oklahoma previously. So that move made all the sense to him. Where was Venables ever going to go? He wasn't leaving Clemson, but to be a head coach at Oklahoma, his previous spot, made sense. Luke said Deion told him this. Yeah, I know he had a Spaces like last week. I wasn't in there, didn't care to listen. And maybe Deion did. Maybe Deion went to Luke and said, hey, man, I tried to become the Florida State head coach, and I was told no. It's very possible that maybe have happened. Again, there's no way of verifying that other than he said, she said. Well, let's see if Deion ever comes out with it publicly. Who knows? Deion told Uncle Luke, and now Uncle Luke is saying it publicly. I don't know, man. I don't know how to take that. I wouldn't even counter offer for Dillingham. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. Yeah, I'm with y'all. I wouldn't counter offer for Dillingham. So that's an interesting conversation. What should FSU do? Let's say Dillingham leaves. You already know how I feel. But do they do an offensive coordinator search? Do they go out and they try to find whoever? Maybe. My thing is, I don't think there's. Like Mike, you're an offensive coach, so call the offense. That's how you made your bread and butter, right? My thing is, what elite offensive coordinators are out there? That's my question. For anybody who is like, what do you want to do at that? Do you want to go out and hire a guy? Do you want to promote from within? Coleman ain't coming for us anyway. So what elite OC is out there? Because there ain't one. And most of the elite offensive minds, in my opinion, are already head coaches. The one guy that I've always liked, and I'll stand on this hill to the end of it, is Kendall Briles. But Kendall Briles ain't never coming back here. And my guess is the next move that Kendall Briles makes will be a head coaching job. I don't believe there's any. Who? Somebody give me a name. Joe Brady. I think Joe Brady has made it clear he wants to stay in the NFL. But even Joe Brady's a popular name, Irv. And because of what he did at LSU that year. But they had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Bro, look at the talent they had. Now look what he's done in the NFL. It's been a little bit lackluster, right? I mean, Joe Brady's a name, but to me, I don't know. I don't know if Joe Brady's proven anything. That's just my opinion. I don't care. It don't matter if he coached him or not. You just need to. He's just filling a recruiting spot. Yeah, I'm not even gonna pay attention to that comment, Boxing Monster. This is Mike offense either way. Any elite OC already a head coach or trying to be one. That's my thing. I think any elite offensive mind, especially in today's age, is already a head coach or on the verge of being one. Who's the Wake Forest OC? Don't know. Great question. Thank God we didn't hire Dion. I'll take the Wake Forest OC if we can get him. Marquise Gilbert's commit is at 7 p.m. tonight. I think FSU feels pretty good about him. Fuentes, he's pretty decent. I mean, he just got fired from Virginia Tech. You want to bring him back as an OC? I mean, I guess. But Fuentes showed what at Virginia Tech as far as recruiting and all of that says he's a better candidate than Alex Atkins. No, let me get in the camera. Atkins, Fuentes. I mean, you know, I'll let you guys answer that, but Fuentes doesn't move any needle for me. Someone says Gilbert's going to Auburn. Brow's name has been mentioned down in Horrible Gables. I think Brow's stays at Arkansas for another year. And then I think the next move that Kendall Briles makes will be head coach position somewhere. Who we signed in the early period? Tyree West. I believe we get Tyree West. Thomas out of Niceville. I'm not gonna keep continuing to butcher this man's name. Thomas out of Niceville. Tyree West. Who else is committing? Damn, these are from guys that are not already committed, right? So Tyree West, kid out of Niceville. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. I don't think we get Coleman. I'm sticking with Marvin Jones Jr. I don't care what none of the insiders say. I don't give a damn. I believe Marvin Jones Jr. is going to be a part of this class. Chip Long is an elite OC, but he has ties to Mike from Memphis and Cam Recruit. Dude, Joe Brady was a co-OC at LSU last year. They won it all, so he wasn't that cold by himself. Fuentes' offense has never been anything other than at Memphis. I think FSU gets Little Jr. I do not, but hey, stop it. Atkins will be the OC. But what do we know about Atkins to make him an OC? Like, what is his philosophy? Any UF flips? I don't think so. This may sound crazy, but what about Rich Rod? I don't know. I think Rich Rod, he's a name, but Rich Rod's been a bust everywhere out since he left West Virginia, right? I think Copeland committed somewhere already. Where did Copeland go? Did Copeland pick Arkansas? I think Copeland already committed somewhere. I could be long. I could. Earl Little grew up at FSU. Earl Little grew up a Miami fan, man. But what do we know about Atkins? Well, here's what I know about Alex Atkins, and this is why Atkins makes sense to me. Elite recruiter, run game coordinator already. Mike Norvell is your offense. You're running Mike Norvell's scheme. So it's not like whoever they bring in at offensive coordinator, Mike Norvell is going to just not be a part of the offense. Very similar to Jimbo. FSU had a ton of offensive coordinators in name under Jimbo Fisher, but it was always Jimbo's offense, and he always called the plays. I think Mike Norvell would take back over play calling duty under Alex Atkins, and we would run. Now, we know that he allowed Kenny Dillingham to call plays, but again, if you want to replace Kenny, I think you do it from within personally. I think Atkins is more valuable than anybody you're going to bring in. Just my opinion there. And then eventually you allow Atkins to take over play calls down the stretch maybe later on as he kind of learns more and becomes more adept to play calling situations. But that's just the way I look at it. You actually have to be a good coach in the NFL. Some of these college coaches are just recruiters, and a bit more of them can chew can chew when making the leap. If Dilly leaves, half the fan base is going to want a national search and pay some dude a ton of money because people have this notion of if we pay a guy a ton of money, he instantly becomes better. The goal is to pay as little as possible. Trey Bell just took the job at Akron as the CB coach. Okay. That's the Clemson kid. I don't know if they're... This is what I think I know, or what I've heard, is FSU's not actively recruiting any quarterbacks in the portal right now. Their focus is on making sure Duffy signs Wednesday. Once they get Duffy locked in, they'll go after quarterbacks after that. I think every year from here on out is going to be very similar. What I think they need to do is change the portal rule. And this is my opinion on that. Right now, they're just giving kids free. Kids, like, go check the transfer portal, y'all. There's kids in the portal that have transferred every year they've been in college. There's kids that are on their third or fourth teams because they've transferred 3 or 4 times. I think they should get one free transfer. But this transferring 3, 4 times, I don't like it. I understand why they got it, because coaches are free to go whenever, and I understand that argument. But I think it completely, could make a roster dysfunctional when every year a kid's able to transfer. I think you should get that one free transfer. And then after that, if you transfer, you're free to transfer, but you got to lose a year of eligibility. That's my take on that. And of course, if you're a grad transfer, you're free to do what you got to do. If he failed, he's not going to fail, because I think Mike Norvell's going to be calling. If he fails, Mike fails. So they're both getting fired. Like, that's my thing. My thing with Atkins is Atkins will not be the play caller. Mike Norvell will be the play caller. So if the offense is failing, it's because of Mike. That's like, when Jimbo was calling the plays, or Jimbo still calls plays at A&M, if his offense is inept, you can't blame James Coley, who was at Florida State, or who was some of the other guys we had. Who was the guy we had? I forget his name. What was his name? Our former OC quarterback coach under Jimbo. Not Coley, but the guy we had after him. I forget his name. But no one was ever going to blame those guys. That's Jimbo's offensive failing. That's my thing. If it fails, because Mike Norvell fails. Skinner, Brandon B. Skinner, best friend isn't Marvin Jones Jr., though. He better than Dilly. Do we really know how good Atkins is as an OC? It's no knock on Atkins. Again, what are we asking? Not every OC calls plays, y'all. I wouldn't mind that. A Joyo guy from... Yeah, he entered the portal. Agreed, they will hit the portal for QB after Duffy. Rich Rod is the new coach at Jacksonville. He is, isn't he? There's no legit reason to restrict transferring. What's bad about letting kids transfer as much as possible? Kids who can't play will weed themselves out once it's clear they can't play anywhere. Coaches who can't manage rosters. Well, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I'm just looking at the portal and I'm saying, when I see a kid that's been in the portal every year since he's been in college, I don't see how that's healthy. You know what I mean? From an academic standpoint or his career. I feel like, and this is maybe just old school me talking, you're taking accountability away from these. Like, we're in a day and age where it's like, we don't want to make people work for nothing. You feel me? Like, oh, this situation don't work. Well, let's just run to the next situation. Well, at a certain point, when you've transferred 3 and 4 times, it ain't the situation, son. It's you. And I get what you're saying. Like, oh, kids will weed themselves out. But at a certain point, man, stick to something. Commit to something. That word commit at this point don't mean a damn thing. And again, this is just the old school me talking. And I know people have different opinions, and I get it. But I feel like you can legitimately choose the wrong place one time. So that one free transfer, I'm all for. But when you're not choosing the wrong place 3 and 4 times, you are the problem. And that, that's just like a man or a woman being like, man, I can't find a good person. I 3 or 4 different boyfriend and girlfriends over this time span, and men ain't nothing, and women ain't no good. At some point, you got to look in the mirror and say, no, I'm the issue in this situation. And that's just kind of the way I don't know. That's just kind of the way I look at it. Again, there's no legit reason. You're right. That's just my own personal preference. What up, Jeff, with the $5? He says, if Dilly goes, promote Atkins. Do we get a quarterback? I think you would have to. Yeah, they would definitely get a quarterback coach. Definitely do that. And I appreciate the donation, Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah, that Clemson stuff dead. Randy Sanders, that's what I was talking about. Not Rick, not Trickett, but Randy Sanders. Now, was Randy Sanders ever the real OC? Did he ever call a play? Of course not. Yeah, and he was the OC before. Great point by Tyler. Atkins was the OC before. These kids got to learn to deal with tough situations, even if it doesn't seem to be working out. Life ain't like that. You up and leave a job. You committed to your ass, leave again. You might. That's my thing. Like, I'm glad you said that, Zay. Like, this belief that you can just up and leave every situation. I'm not saying you have to stick to some place and be unhappy. But at a certain point, I feel like a lot of these kids are just hitting the portal and just going places. Hey, how about you actually make an informed decision? How about you let's start teaching some responsibility and some commitment. At some point, sit down and say, and really look at a situation and weigh your options. Now, this is what I will say. I believe that I'll change this up a little bit on the transfer thing. One free transfer. But if the school you attend goes through a coaching change, then every player on that, even if you've already used the transfer, every player on that team should have the ability to transfer. I will say that. So in terms of like Oregon or Oklahoma or LSU, these schools that went through the head coaching changes, the whole roster should be allowed to transfer. But obviously, with today's age, you can transfer regardless. That's the only exception I would have to the one transfer rule, if it was me. I think the NCAA should get rid of the early signing day if there's going to be so many coaching changes, weeks and even days right before it, or at least more defined coaching change period. I like the idea of Gaynor coming back, and I agree with you. Look at the Chuba. I think he made a really fast decision, in my opinion. That's selfish. One, he could have had the opportunity. Yeah, again, Purdy doing what's best for him, I guess. And Purdy, I know he visited Pitt. I think he visited Pitt this last weekend, so maybe he ends up there. But look at Brandon Jennings, man. Let's just use guys as examples. Brandon Jennings committed to Florida State, decommitted, committed to Michigan, decommitted, committed to Maryland. 1 year into Maryland, he's out the door in the transfer portal. Would anybody be shocked if next year we're looking at Brandon Jennings in the portal again? That's a kid who probably should have stuck through some adversity and stuck with some, I don't know. That's just me speaking in a perfect world. But obviously, you guys, these kids are allowed to transfer as much as they want. So, it is what it is. In that case, if these kids want all these options to transfer and make NIL money, they were bound to some type of negative, unintended consequences of that. Let's not change the early signing day. The last 2 years, the early signing day hurt FSU more than anyone else. Finally, it's going to help us, and now we want to get rid of it. So I actually like the early signing day because I understand the coaching thing, but I think there's a reason why a lot of these kids, let me put it to you like this. early signing day does not force any of these kids to sign. There's still the normal national signing day. And isn't it in February, if I'm not mistaken? Isn't National Signing Day in February? It doesn't. Early signing day allows the kids who know where they're going to make an early decision. But no one's forcing them to sign early signing days. I'm not against the early signing period. Because to me, I feel like that's a mute argument when you say, well, look at all the coaching changes. No one's forcing you to sign. So, for instance, all those kids that were committed to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley dashes off in the middle of the night. Well, just open up your recruitment. You still got December and January to sign. Just open up your recruitment. I mean, that's me. I don't feel like the early, this is my opinion, like I don't feel like the early signing day puts any pressure. It's not like early signing day is in December and national signing day is in January 1st, where it doesn't really make a difference. You still got a whole month after the early signing day. If they want to change anything, change some of those dead period dates. That's what you can change. Texas is going to be paying O-line man to come, the best nation. How is that fair? They attach NIL to it. I guess it's fair, right? I believe the transfer portal should be used only for graduate transfer. I enjoy the old one-time transfer rule. The portal and NIL isn't teaching these kids to be. It's teaching these kids to be irresponsible. The only thing I think they should do when it comes to signing day is get rid of February. I guess I don't see the point of having it so close to traditional signing day. What is it? About a month? Yeah, it's like a whole month in between. I mean, what would you want to change? So you want to get rid of it completely? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a direct answer. I just don't have a problem with the early signing period. Maybe get rid of the dead period. I think that's probably something that the coaches kind of push on them, but again, that's another problem. But that's just the problem. That's just a problem with recruiting in general. I think that's why a lot of these kids transfer. A lot of these kids get bought up in their own hype, and then they get on campus. Purdy's a perfect example. I think when Purdy committed to Florida State in Mike's transition class, I think he was told, like, you're the future. Then he got hurt, and then he re-aggravated the injury, and then he didn't come to Florida. He didn't have 2 springs in a row, and all this stuff happened with Purdy. Purdy thought he should have been playing, and he hadn't put any work on the field to prove that he should be playing, right? And I think that a lot of these kids fall in that situation where they think that they are going to come on campus and be the one, but reality sets in. There's a limited amount of kids that come on campus and be day one guys. I understand you get sold that in recruiting, but coaches have been selling early playing time in recruiting for years. 20, 30 years. Oh yeah, man, you're gonna get a chance to come in and play. The truth is, that's why I remember some years back when the NBA was having all these high school kids, and they were talked that the NFL should do the same thing with high school kids. And I said it back then, and I'll say it again. That's why the NFL, I actually think there was a draft that actually had NFL high school kids, and not one NFL team picked a high school kid. And I'll say it, 80% of these high school kids can't play day one in college, let alone the NFL. So this notion that you're going to come on campus and play early is ridiculous. I don't care who you are. Quinn Edwards, if he was that dude, why is he transferring from Ohio State? Because he ain't better than what they got. And he was considered, top prospect in the nation. We all love Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is going to be a factor year one. But is he coming in year one and locking down a corner position? I don't think so. I think he get in a rotation. Definitely think they'll use him in packages on both offense and defense. But you're telling me Travis Hunter's going to come in day one? That's tough. Are there some kids? Absolutely. Your Jadeveon Clownies. Yeah, some of those kids. But those are rare. Those kids are rare. It's nerve-wracking talking about high school athletes. They all feel like they're going to the league. And I get it. That's the mindset that they kind of have to have. But I think, and I hate to say it because I'm not one to ever question parents parenting, but I think you have to have realistic conversations with your kids. I don't care how big of a prospect they are. I don't think it's a coincidence that the kids that are most successful either have just natural God-given talent that's undeniable, i.e. maybe a Travis Hunter, or they have a combination of these two things, or one or the other, or they have a solid background that puts that, like levels them out, brings them back down to earth and say, yeah, you were great in high school, but you got to go to the next level and work. I know they all want to go to the league. I know they all dominated their high schools when you're playing against a 5'9" corner who runs a 5 flat, and you think you're that, but guess what? Everybody in college is running 4.6s. You know what I'm saying? Especially at your skill positions. Hell, at your skill position, 4.6 is slow. I just think good, solid parenting backgrounds can reel some of these kids in. I think that's who you see as usually the most successful. Or you're Dalvin Cook. And I'm not saying Dalvin Cook didn't have a good, solid background, but just God-given ability. You were never going to deny Dalvin Cook. How did you see what he just did Thursday night? You know what I'm saying? Like, you either are that, or you got a combination of both. Not only got God-given ability, but you got that, that spine, that backbone. I heard he was going to announce at the game too. But I think he plans on signing, so we won't know about Coleman. The team will know, and whether they release that information or not, we'll see if that gets leaked, but we won't know. The portal equals the playing field versus line coaches selling dreams they won't deliver on. Now, it forces more accountability towards the coaches because they know their roster could be gutted. Even though players jump ship, at least they can. They don't have to be stuck like players from back in the day. Even if that hurts to know and have experience as fans, Quinn Edwards robbed Ohio State and did the dash. I honestly don't believe Edwards made $1 million there. I just don't believe that. There's no way they paid him $1 million and then let him dash. Money don't work like that. That type of money, that don't work like that. I don't believe that happened, Rose. I don't believe he made that kind of money over there. I honestly do not. Only person who I remember was a day one starter as a freshman is Adrian Peterson. There's more, but Adrian Peterson was a man child. Again, Jadeveon Clowney, Julio Jones. I'm trying to think of some more guys, but look how hard it is. Like, that's not something that happens often. I mean, Jalen Ramsey for Florida State played as a freshman, but they moved him. He was a safety because they felt that position was easier for him to play as a safety. And then once he grew into it, he was a lockdown corner, right? Kane fan here now. no, I guess he's saying no shade. But a question for you. If there was a top running back recruit picking between FSU, Florida, Miami, why FSU? So in recent years, check the NFL. Cam Akers, Dalvin Cook, Devontae Freeman, Chris Thompson had a great NFL. He had a long, extended NFL career. There's your answer. In that same time span, what running back from Florida is in the league? Devontae Freeman was an all-pro. You know, Dalvin Cook is, when he's healthy, Dalvin Cook is one of the top 2 backs, in my opinion, in the NFL. Cam Akers was on his way until he tore his Achilles. I can't wait to see him get back. Florida, though, I can't think of one. Maybe you can, in recent years. And same thing with Miami in recent years. Who's Miami put in the NFL? So there's the answer to that. There's your answer to that. Here's another one. I hear from the athletes every day. I need to get my mom a house, car, etc., and it sets them up for failure. I don't think he did. That's just my opinion. But as far as that one, though, what you want? Quick money or that long? Like, if you are the guy, you're gonna get your mom paid. You know. I don't know what Jerry Jones runs, but he get burnt a lot, right? Lamar Miller. Okay, Lamar's in recent years. I'll give you that. And Lamar's had a solid career. And I guess, okay, Duke has been solid. Okay. Has Lamar been better than Dalvin Cook or Devontae Freeman? What about Duke? And that's saying, again, I'm just asking. I'm not, he asked me the question, so I'm just asking. Jerry and Jones to the portal would be nice to see. I wouldn't be mad at you, man. I feel like a lot of these players in the portal are going to end up without a team. Yeah, and that's again, at some point we got to look out for the. And again, like somebody said, they're weeding themselves out. You keep hitting the portal, and it is what it is. Rambo about the best player in the NFL potential on offense for Miami in a while. I will say I like what LeBron did. Got his degree, found a school to play. Yeah, so LeBron's going to be going to Marshall. So I'll be interested to see how LeBron does up there. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. I mean, he was supposed to be the next in line, right? As you can see, man, I don't got nothing to do today, so I'm just on here chilling with y'all for a little bit more. We'll go. What time is it for me? 10 o'clock. I'll go a little bit longer, man. If anything else y'all want to ask, and then I'll go try to get my day started. But I ain't got much going on. I mean, even if you look at Florida State's crop of running backs right now, I mean, Corbin and Ward will make some NFL rosters. I'm not saying they're going to be Pro Bowlers or anything. But he asked them running back questions, so that's why I had to answer it. Now, if you want to go out of the last 30 years, then Miami would have more of a case because you had McGahee and Portis and Frank Gore. But today, those kids don't know none of those guys. And the only reason they might know of Frank Gore is because he boxing. He's supposed to be doing the boxing matches and stuff, celebrity boxing matches. If you're in the portal and no team claim you, oh well, reality has finally hit, and maybe it's for the best. Football usually isn't for those type of players long term. How do you feel about Devon Mortimer weighing his options? I don't like it. Maybe you can do spaces also, grow the channel some more. I thought about doing spaces. I don't have a lot of Twitter followers. I only got like 300 Twitter followers. So I wouldn't be sure who all would, like how those would be, how successful those would be. But that's something I could probably start doing. Definitely no issue there. Zoe says Mortimer just taking free trips. I mean, I hope that's the case. That's what they do to us. That's what Nigel Kelly did to us. That's what they do to us, bro. They get their stars and they act completely different on us. Nigel Kelly committed to Florida State when he was a 3-star, low ranked. Nobody paid him any attention. My man had a growth spurt, started dominating, became a top 100 player after attending all these summer camps, dipped on us, and ain't been back since. I think he probably gonna end up over there in Miami. Boy, dipped on our ass. Mortimer gonna do the same thing to us, huh? Soldiers running amok right now. Nah, they ain't doing nothing. I don't got no troops under me anyway, where I work at. We would have to share. Yeah, you'd have to share it for sure. Both of them guys from the same high school. Maybe we need to stay away from Dillard. Bruh, it's crazy, ain't it? We do need Mortimer for real, though. Hey, Cam, I talked about this at the beginning. We lose Mortimer because I don't believe you signing Coleman. So we about to go through a whole year and not sign a wide receiver. Though it's pretty common knowledge that our receivers are absolutely terrible. Yeah, Dugan's got to have that same energy y'all had and I had for Marv. Got to have it for Dugan's. We definitely need him for real. OBB, I know we need to get rid of him. Been saying that. Been saying that. Kind of wish we had a running back committed. That's who Rodney Hill is. He's gonna be the running. He's an athlete, but he's gonna be our running back. I get what you're saying, like a true running back. But Rodney Hill is the guy that they're recruiting as a running back out of Georgia. He's actually got some good tape. I like Rodney Hill. Is he a true? Again, he's an athlete. He played he played receiver and running back, a lot of different positions. But Rodney Hill is going to be your running back in this class. Dugans could have stayed at UM coaching. I got Dillard connects. I'm going to find out what Mortimer's doing. These little dudes can't hold water. What's up with this here about Brownlee complaining about receipt any award? Yeah, I saw Brownlee. I don't know what's up with Brownlee, bro. He'll better have speed like Toa Philly for his size. These recruits have been using FSU for years to get offers from what other schools they actually want. I like Rodney. I like Rodney too. Oh yeah, I seen that about Brownlee. He was one of my guys on the team, but that was weak. Yeah, I saw the comment. He put. I don't get that. I'm all for having a chip on my shoulder type of attitude. Brownlee, this is not the first time Brownlee has publicly on social media shown disdain. At some point, Brownlee got to shut up and play football, bro. Look, I actually like Brownlee. I like the intensity he plays with. I think when they actually started using him in a proper way, he flashed, showed a lot of promise. But if you're Jarvis Brownlee, you do know that Jacksonville State play is on tape. I can go back and watch that last play of the game and watch you right now. I can go watch that Wake Forest game and watch that receiver have over 100 yards on you in the first half. If you're Brownlee, how about you play better before you start making these comments and talking? Just chill. I like you, but it ain't like you are All-American quality, bro. So stop. Just chill. Like, all that extra stuff you doing, it don't help your case, bro. It don't help you at all. Again, I can just turn on the tape and watch you get burnt. So, it is what it is. If you don't like it, play better. There you go. Brownlee better tighten up because he's about to be passed up on the depth chart. I agree. Are you going to hit the portal? Are going to hit the portal hard with receivers anyway? Because I don't feel good about our recruitment. Got to hit the portal hard at this point. Jarvis been mid all season. How you going to get mad at Jermaine for his accomplishments? I would give Brownlee the Come On Man award for allowing that jig. Man, that's what I'm saying. I can go turn on the tape, watch now, Jarvis Brownlee. How you going to have something to say when it's... Man, stop it. Brownlee needs to stop with those feminine dance videos he makes. Brownlee can be the Burnt Toast Award. He needs to sit down. Fake chip on the shoulder attitude. You should need awards if you're that type of lunch pail player you say you are. And I really like bruh. but gotta call a spade a spade. Yep. Does anyone tell these little dudes about them? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm in Hawaii. With the dogs we got on this team and the guys we have coming in, all that talk that's for real. All that talk, Brownlee. I mean, you can keep talking, but Amarion Cooper already showed in year one, and then didn't even play the whole season. Amarion Cooper played the back half of the season and started. I think he got his first start with like 3 games left. Already shown to be a better man corner than you have ever shown in your time at Florida State. Travis Hunter is coming, big bruh. You probably want to focus on your game and stay off social media talking about what you think you deserve. These little dudes have feminine traits. That's what I'm talking about. That leadership, bro. That's what I'm talking about with that support system. Like some of these kids, bro, they think they are some. I mean, Kevin Knowles, true freshman, started basically from day one. Again, shown to be a better all-around football player than you, Brownlee. Like, your spot ain't solidified, homie, at all. Hunter Washington's coming. I don't know if Demore Tate's coming, but he's on the roster, and don't let him finally get his stuff together, because then you definitely on the bench. And we know that bad dude out of Georgia's coming. That's what's up. We're not getting any of the big fish. Who do you consider a big fish, Jay Noel? Who's a big fish in your opinion? I fear he'll be a portal guy if he gets sat down next season. He probably will be. I can see that from him. But it is what it is. Absolutely, Zoe. Absolutely a true corner. That's what I'm saying. The young guys, Kevin Knowles, Amarion Cooper, they showed from the jump that they were better. I want to know who he's talking about. Well, a lot of people are coming up with these rumors that Georgia's meeting with Travis Hunter today, even though it's the dead period, so I don't know how they pull that off. But, I mean, crazier things have happened in college football. But, there's a lot of rumors. Travis is going to flip on Wednesday. Miami has 17 silent commits, which include Marvin Jones Jr., Kamari Wilson, Earl Little, and Kevin Coleman. So if you guys don't know, y'all might want to get plugged in on them sources, because there's a lot of stuff going on, man. What happened? Nothing happened. I mean, he made a recent comment about not receiving any accolades for his play this year. But he's still on the team. Nothing's happened. What's going on with you, Nicholas? I like that nickname. Didn't know who the commenters were talking about at first. A lot of subscriptions being sold right now, homie. A lot of people got a lot of insiders, and again, man, we got a lot of flips coming. Yeah, average. Average would be the word, Mason. Absolutely, average. BB laughing about all these. Bro, everybody got an insider. We talked about the Miami silent commits. Again, Georgia's meeting with Travis Hunter today. It's the start of the dead period, but again, they said F the NCAA. We about to break all the rules there. So he's gonna flip on Wednesday. Sam McCall probably gonna leave. When Hunter flips, Sam McCall's probably headed to Florida. Duffy's gonna leave when Dillingham goes to Oregon. What else we got? Mortimer to Louisville, which actually might be real, by the way. Jalen Early. Napier's on Jalen Early. He might flip. Yeah, so we ain't getting none of the big guys. We losing everything. This class is about to be in shambles come Wednesday, y'all. Clickbait. Random, but you confident about Early? Yeah, I am. I know Nate tried to make a run at him. I don't think he visited, though, so I'm cool. Who's a lock? I think it's hard to call anybody a lock, but I think Armella's a lock. I think Thomas is a lock. and I think Tyree West is a lock. Those are my 3 probably locks that I would, lock is a tough word, but those are the 3 guys that I'd be disappointed if we missed on any of those 3. And then of course y'all know me, Marvin Jones Jr. is coming to Tallahassee. I don't care what nobody says. At this point, I have a better chance of making it as an NFL QB than Travis. Man, nah, they saying he gone. All these experts, a lot of them are saying that Marvin Jones is going to Alabama. Yeah, that's true. That makes me, I'll be honest with you, Jeff, that makes me even more confident that Marvin Jones Jr. coming to Tallahassee. Those same experts, those exact same guys said Basaint was coming to FSU. Those exact same guys said Elijah Pritchett was coming to FSU. So that makes me even more locked in. Marvin Jones Jr. will be a no. Georgia fans are worse, but they are on the they are damn near on the same level, BV. You ain't even lying. They are on the same damn level. These rumors spread like wildfire. Somebody makes a post and gets a ton of traction because people just make up stuff, and it's crazy how that stuff just catches fire. Only recruit I'm worried about is Mortimer and Early because they're taking visits. Any recruit taking visits should have you worried. I agree with that. I want Tyree West. I do too. Our DB room got some hungry youngsters looking to playing time, McCall, Hunter, and possibly Thomas. Thomas goes to my school. Hey, so what's the insight on Thomas? They saying he liking Florida State. He's in my English class. Super quiet kid. What up, Mr. H? J-No says, Marvin Jones Jr., KC Earl Jr., K-Law, Nigel Kelly. Yeah, all them boys are silently committed to Miami. Did you make the trip to Indonesia? Nope. Ain't trying to go either. Do you feel like this coming down to the end like this with Marvin Jones Jr. bodes well for us? I think he wants that moment. I think he's struggling with the business and the heart of it. I think he knows, like, Bama. My thing with Marvin Jones Jr., and I mean, this is what I would sell him. I don't know what Mike has sold him, but my thing would be like, look, you're going to go to Alabama. You're going to play in big games. You're going to be on the national stage. But there's a chance that you get lost in the shuffle. It's always a chance. You never know. An injury could happen. Anything could happen. At the end of the day, they're not going to treat you at Bama. You're not going to be, even if they treat you extremely well, he's never, in my opinion, he will never be the star at Alabama that he has a chance of being at Florida State with his entire lineage. His entire family has been at that school. He's got aunts, uncles, cousins. Entire family has been Seminoles. Your father was one of the top 2 to 3 linebackers to ever play college ball. You have a chance to come in here with a Travis Hunter, with a Sam McCall, and completely put your own mark on your own legacy here at Florida State. You're never going to be the star you have a chance of being at Alabama that you're going to be at Florida State. That's my number one pitch right there. And I think his heart is at FSU. But it's hard. Like I said this on Wednesday. It's hard to look at Nick Saban. It's hard to look at those rings. It's hard to look at all of that. And FSU ain't in the greatest. Mike's selling 5 and 7. And Saban selling another playoff. They just mollywopped the so-called one of the greatest defenses of all time. That's what Saban's selling. And we selling 5 and 7. That's a tough sell. I feel like if I was a business decision, it would be done by now. When it's close, I feel like the kid goes with his heart. Polk, do you think our class will be? No, I don't. I was just being funny. Okay. According to Miami, we got Jayshon Corbin just declared. Okay. I don't think that's big of a now. I mean, I would have liked to have Jayshon back, but Trayshawn Ward takes that spot. Yeah, you took DJ Williams. Now he's going to move up. I'm happy for him. I'm not mad. Like, I would have liked to have him back, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad. And Toafili gets now his chance to take that spot too. Like, I think we good, bro. We good. I would love to see Marvin Jones Jr., but saying that if he signs to Bama, how would you feel? I mean, I wouldn't. Would I be upset? But I wouldn't feel any way towards him. Look, I ain't mad at a kid that chooses Bama. I wouldn't, I'd be upset because that's what I want. I want him here, but I wouldn't feel any type of way towards him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. What did he say? I didn't see that tweet, Tyler. I'm about to get off here in a minute anyway, but what did he say? What did Marvin Jones? You said Marvin Jones put out a telling tweet after his in-home visits. What did he say? I didn't see that. What's your thoughts on Odell? If he gets Tyree West, I am no longer on the get rid of Odell bandwagon. Actually, Norvell's done a good job this cycle. I think Daniel Lyons is a good player. Bishop Thomas hasn't played football in a year, but that's because of his own choice. But I think I just look at Bishop Thomas and I see defensive tackle. So I think we're good there. And again, you add Tyree West is the icing on all of that. So Niceville High School was a history of great wide receivers, so it wouldn't surprise me Norvell uses Thomas Hunter and McCall at wide receiver. It's called knowing your personnel. Everybody mad at Corbin, man. Be happy for Corbin. He must be getting some good feedback from the NFL. And I always say this about running backs. The body can only take so many hits. And Corbin has already experienced a big-time injury coming out of Texas A&M. Hey, man, go make your money. Go make your money. Hey, but even if he is only in the league a year tops, I mean, how much money can he make? I don't know. I think Corbin's a fourth round pick and on, like fourth, fifth, sixth round pick. But if he goes to the combine, if Corbin runs a 4.4, who knows? You never know. You never know. I'm happy for Corbin. I'm not mad. Like, I guess I'll be the only one that's not mad here. So I'm good on it. Would I like to see him back? Absolutely, but running back is not a position I'm worried about. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Trayshawn Ward is a better runner than Corbin anyway. Oh, Marvin Jones Sr. did tweet that. Now, I thought you meant Marvin Jones Jr. I saw Marvin Jones Sr. put that tweet out. I did see that where he said, and I quote, maybe not verbatim, but he basically was like, if you're a top 10 program, sell that. Why are you negative recruiting another program? I did see that tweet. I thought you meant Marvin Jones Jr. put out a tweet. But yeah, Marvin Jones Sr. did put out that tweet. I saw that. Maybe check Tank Busby out now. Maybe. I mean, I don't think running back is a position of need, man. Do we not watch Trayshawn Ward? We still all think Toafili has a ton of talent and a ton of potential. DJ Williams didn't get a lot of opportunities. I think he's gonna his chances skyrocket. I don't know, man. I think we're good. I mean, hopefully Corey Wren develops. If he even stays on the team, he might transfer. Maybe Corey Wren finally gets a chance here, and then Rodney Hill's coming in as a friend. Like, I honestly, man, I think we good. I don't think we need to worry about a portal running back. I don't think we need to waste a scholarship on that. Absolutely. Because it's running back position. How much? First of all, running backs fall anyway. Dalvin Cook was a second round pick. Should have never been that way. I mean, Alvin Kamara. Wasn't Kamara like a late pick? I mean, you can just go down the list. Rojo at Tampa was a late pick. Running backs fall, even talented ones, because the league doesn't value the running back position like that. Fourth round pick is not bad. How much is he going to increase his stock? Unless you're talking about was Corbin going to. I don't think anybody thinks Corbin's running for 2,000 yards and nothing crazy like that. So. Exactly. Take too many hits, man. Corbin's got some back end speed that people sleep on his back end speed. Go watch him. When Corbin breaks an open field, a lot of times he doesn't get caught. Agreed, Tyler. There you go. See what I'm saying? And we can go down the list of running backs. Like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's got the work ethic, all that. I mean, what was Cam Akers? Wasn't Cam Akers the third or fourth round pick? Devontae Freeman was a fourth round pick. Turned into an all pro. Like, yeah, Corbin's fine, man. No, man, I'm not an infantry. I'm too old for that crap. But all right, y'all, man, I'm about to head out here. I've been on here for 2 hours, just sitting in the truck, wasting gas. This was a good little. I don't know if you guys can see me. Somebody call me. As soon as I'm ready to get off, somebody call me. But I'm gonna head out, guys. Appreciate y'all. If you can hear me, cool. If not, I'll catch y'all another time. Just gonna end it right here and go get some work done. So, as always, y'all, stay classy, go Noles, and we out here.